Hello my crafty friends and welcome to my YouTube channel, Corin's Crafts. I hope everyone is well. Here's a lovely project I made today. Really love this one. I've used a frame or a grid or whatever you want to make the background. I've done a little bit of blending. I wanted to show you how easy it is to blend and how you don't need to get hung up on detail with your blending. And then we've made that gorgeous flower on the top. As I explained in the video, I was going to do this as an all white card. I couldn't quite get there, so I've just added a little bit of colour as well. Now, all the links are down in the description down below this video. I'd love it if you could click on those because it really does help me. I'll link to as many things as I can. But yes, that is absolutely brilliant. Please subscribe to my channel. It keeps it growing and I am so grateful for every subscribe, click, like, share, whatever you do. Really grateful, and thank you everyone, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial. I'd love to see what you make with inspired by it. Okay, so shall we see how to make this card? Now the first thing I've done is I've got myself a background frame die. You could be finding any background die, any grid you've got. Now this one is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I really like the size of this. It's a really lovely one. Now it's got the edge around the outside. Now if you are lucky enough to have something that you like this without an edge around the edge, it's going to work even better. I wanted to use this, but it had that cutting blade, but I decided I could work around that. So I'm going to put my piece of card on here that I've actually, although this has got an edge, I've cut this to a specific size. I've cut it to 4 3/4 by 6 inches, so that I've got a perfect border around the outside. So what we're going to do is I'm going to centre that up for this one. I'm going to cut it a couple more times and I won't be too concerned about centering it up, but this time I'm going to centre it up really carefully so I've got the same size border all the way around, because what we're going to do is we're going to stick it back in. So let me cut that out. Okay, so we can have a look and we can see this has cut perfectly. Now remember, for this occasion I want to keep the frame. Keep the frame, but I've also got this piece, and what I want to do is just poke out all of those little bits just like that, and then I'm going to take this frame and I'm going to pop it back in, and I've got one that I've done and I'll show you what I mean by that. So what I've got, as you can see it here, I've popped it back into the frame because obviously it's going to fit perfectly, and I've just put a little bit of red liner tape or any tape you have got over the back. Now I've cut it out another 2 times and I've stuck them together, so I've got a bit of a chipboard effect. Don't worry about those little adhesives, you'll see in a minute. I just was messing around and put those on. So what I want to do is I want to pop that one on here, so I'm going to get a really good raised effect, but I've also got this edge, so it's going to look like another little border. So I'm going to do this in 2 ways. First of all, I'm going to go all over with my dotty tape pen because that's going to pick up most of the detail. Just go all over just like that, just to make sure that nothing is going to come unstuck. And then I'm going to get my PVA, tacky glue, whichever one you want to use, and I'm just going to go round the edge with that. I want something really strong around there. I don't want that lifting at the corners or at the edges. What I also found is where I had a big bit here within the pattern, I also put a little dollop of glue as well, just to add to that strength. So we can put that on there, and then that is going to go on here. Now it'll be a perfect fit, so lift it up, have a look and make sure. I don't want it to stagger. I want it to be an absolute perfect fit. So there you go. So that just looks straight down, but I've got the depth. I just wanted a little bit of depth and rigidity. What I've also done is I've cut it out of black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post that behind. So I'm going to come onto, I'll do it onto this one, I think. So I'm going to leave the red liner on for a minute, very deliberately, and I'm going to just put my wet glue. Am I going to leave the red liner on? Or could I? No, I will leave the red liner on. I couldn't. This could be the wrong decision. I hope it's not. Let's put that bit over there. Just like that. Then I'm going to bring this and I'm going to pop this over here. If I got the wrong way up, Get it the right way up. I had it the right way first time. I had it the right way. I thought I did. So I'm going to pop that behind, directly behind. And then I'm just going to, do you see that pop? So it was behind and then I popped it just so that I've got the smallest black drop shadow. And you'll see why in a minute. Now, this card will look beautiful in two different ways. Can you see that is a really, really fine drop shadow? Ever so fine. But that's all I want, is I just want that hint of a drop shadow. And I'm actually going to just leave that for 1 minute to dry before I take off the red liner. Now, what we could do is we could put that onto some white card. And oh my goodness me, if you are into clean and simple cards, that looks beautiful, because can you just see that black drop shadow? But as I said, that's not what we're going to do today. I'm going to bring in my inks. I've got my water reactive inks. I've got 3 here. I've got my gorgeous blending brushes from Time for Tea, and you will, I will link, I didn't want that one, I wanted that one. And you will see I always link down at the bottom with these. So I've got 3, Honey Pot, Ocean Blue and Fuchsia. You can use whatever you want. So let's come in with Fuchsia. So I'm just going to lay down, I'm just going to sort of mark out my colour. So I'm just going to put one in. There's no right or no wrong. Can you see these blending brushes do exactly what it says on the tin? They blend without making clouds. I just love them. Now, that might not be all the pink. I might go in with a bit more pink in a minute. Let's go in with a bit of blue. I don't want any symmetry. I don't want any patterns. I just want to lay down the colour. Let's come up here. Actually, I'm going to drag that one down there. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. There we go. So I've got 3 patches of pink so far, 3 patches of blue. Get my yellow. Oh, I've just put my yellow onto the pink ink. There we go. Right, in with the yellow. There we go. There we are. Perfect. In with the yellow. It's quite hard sometimes to see what colour your ink pads are, isn't it, when the lids are off? And I can actually get a 4th yellow in there. So then once I've laid down the colour, I can then go down and build up the intensity of the colour. But first I just needed to mark them out. And I tend to do a few different layers. So let's come on with the blue. And I go over the edge. So can you see I'm almost making a green there? Well, I am making a green, aren't I? So just blend in. So I don't want them to be too harsh. Difference between them, but the more you work it, the better that comes. Now, don't worry at all, because this is going underneath our frame. It's amazing how little you can see. Don't worry about the blending. The blending will be right when it's finished. I promise you. I really do. Now, you could be doing this light, you could be doing this dark. It's entirely up to you. When you finish, you could then go in and you could do faux bleaching, adding some water. Not that I'm going to do that today. That actually is enough, because what that's going to do is that is then going to sit behind there. Look at that. It just looks like a perfect blend, doesn't it? Isn't that beautiful? I am loving that. Take this red liner off. But I've done it now that the glue has had time to catch. So let's just peel that red liner off there. Peel that off there, because it's going to help with adhering the black to it as well. There we go. Let's take that off. Now this will look lovely directly onto that pattern, that coloured card that we've just done. There we are. That will look lovely just directly. But I think it'll look really nice like this. Now this huge roll of foam tape, don't know if I can even get it all in camera, is a Sticks 2 one, and it's the only one that I found that it's this width, and I love this width. It's a really useful width. If you're doing shakers, it works really, really well. So I'm actually going to go over my join where I can. Now, I'm not doing a shaker card. I think it's about time I did a shaker card, don't you? I haven't done a shaker card yet on my YouTube. I think we need to. I've been promising one. That's a reminder. I'm going to get quite a few done this week, so maybe I'll try and remember to, oh, I need to trim that in a minute. Maybe I'll try and remember to get a shaker done as well. Maybe I might even use this frame. Who knows? thinking aloud and giving away all my secrets here. So I'm just going to pop that on here. Now, it has sealed up, but it didn't need to because, as I said, it wasn't a shaker card. I will link to that foam tape. Oh, if I can. I struggle to find a link for the Sticks 2 one. They sent me that. I keep asking them to get it on to Amazon so that I can give you links to it. But it will be on the Sticks 2 website. I'm sure of that as well. So just taking all the back of my foam tape. Now what I've actually done is this piece of card is slightly smaller than this frame because I didn't want it to stick out. So if I took it on there, you can see absolutely perfect. That's fitting like that. Okay, so that is then going to fit on to my card base. So I've got my card base. Again, I made, oops, I've got a card in there. I made my card base out of 2 pieces of card, and I then decided I wanted to pick up the yellow. So let's pop that onto my card base. Just some lovely yellow linen card. You know, I love my linen card for my mats and layers. I just think it looks really elegant. So we can put this on. This is a 10-fold card because I'm going to get a bit of weight on the front with my handmade flower. So that's going to go on there. Press that down. Not too many mats and layers on this. You see I vary. Sometimes we have lots of mats and layers. Sometimes we don't have as many. I started off making this and this was going to be an all white card. I couldn't quite do it. Couldn't quite do it. I changed my mind halfway through and it became coloured. Add a bit of colour, not too much colour. So we're going to pop that on there like that. Isn't that looking lovely? Imagine all the things you can do with that. I then took some stamps. These are all my woodware stamps. I used these on a, one quite recently. Let's go with a bit of foam tape again, I think. Let's clip a bit there. You can see, I think most of us when we're doing these tutorials, things evolve as we're doing the tutorials. I didn't know I was going to put that on foam tape, but I think it works really well. I've got a spare bit. Look at that, that was good. Good guesswork there, Corinne. And I can put that on to my card base. So I've just edged it with the yellow that I've used in the background, and I cut it to the 4.5 inches, 4.25 inches wide, which was the same as that. I just thought that looked nice. It could have gone to that one, but I've just done it to that. I think that looks lovely. Actually, that is not straight. Let's straighten that up. There we go. That's much better. Look at that. Look, you can actually just do there. Wouldn't that look lovely? Oops, press down the foam tape. It's not stuck. That would look lovely, wouldn't it? I'm going to put that there. We're going to make a flower. Now, this is the flower that we are going to make, and it is super, super easy. So I've got a piece of flower forming foam, and I know you love these, and I've shown you them. Sorry they're not available at the moment, but I'm using my blush bells from my own signature collection. This is something I did a very long time ago. And I'm going to fold that in half, and already cut a few. I'm just going to put one on top of the other. I love these because foam cuts so beautifully through your smaller die cutting machines. Don't want those to overlap. I've cut 2 layers of this. I could cut 4 layers without any problem. I could possibly even cut 6 layers of a basic one like this without any problem at all. And then all I'm going to do is take these out, and you'll see they've cut perfectly. Put the dies back, and I'm going to open it out. Now I've actually done some for the larger ones, so I'll just do these smaller ones. So what I've done is I've used the exact same pink that I used in the background so that everything ties together, and I've got my foam pads on the back. You'll see that I do that. Now I only want the tiniest bit of ink. I want a really light dusting, and you know normally I turn them over and do the other side. Today I'm not. I just want the merest hint of pink. This was inspired by apple blossom and things that you're seeing, you know, just sort of coming out now. So I didn't want to use, I didn't have a green on the background, but I thought I would use my spring meadow. So again, I'm folding up my dauber, and I'm just doing it in the middle. Now remember, you always need to go a lot further out than you think. Now I'm probably only going to see the ink from the top level, but you know what? I sometimes put it in other layers because as the petals move, it just shows through. Just that will be enough on those just like that. So making flowers is so easy. Please don't be afraid to do this. So all I do is I take it and I fold up the petals, fold them up. I've got this 5th petal. I'm going to put that over there, and then I just use my fingers to concertina it, hold it tightly there, and then twist it at the top. And just twist. Now if I was doing a strong one, I might put some extra colour on there. If you struggle to with dexterity, you can always heat these with a craft iron. I've done tutorials on that. Makes the foam softer, but this actually is a really pliable foam, so you shouldn't need to worry about that. And then we can pop on to there just like that, and then we can pop on and just twist. So that's 1 big one, 2 small ones. Let's do 2 more of the big ones. I tend to do more rather than less petals because it's just what I like. I like my flowers to be quite voluptuous or voluminous, or whichever is the right word, but lots of petals on them. I'm not into skinny flowers. No, we don't do skinny flowers. So we've got those shaped like that. So the next thing I need to do is I've got myself a foam pad, really baby bath or sponge, anything like baby sponge rather, and a ball tool. So all I'm going to do is open these out. Now get them all opened out before I start. That's going to be my bottom one because it's got no ink on it. I think that's a big one, but I'll be able to tell in a minute. Oh no, that might be a little one. Let's get this red liner out of the way. And it's up to me. What's this one? That's a big one. This one's a big one. Now I'm not actually doing anything to these petals. I could be adding heat and straightening them out, but I don't want to. I really don't want to. I just want them like that. So I'm going to bring this in. Now hot glue is, for me, the only glue you would want to use when you're doing flowers, because it grabs quickly. Look how small a piece of glue I'm using, just the tiniest piece. Then we're going to stagger. We're going to make sure they're laid over the centre and stagger. So those are my 2 without any green in the centre. Then I'm going to put another little bit again, the smallest amount of glue. Please don't over glue. I just have nightmares about it. I once saw somebody showing how to make flowers, and they'd got half a glue gun underneath, and I just wanted to cringe. I know that's just my personal opinion, but I just think you really do need the smallest amount of glue. I'm just pressing that down so it's holding. I'm not shaping it at this point. I'm just pressing it so that they don't separate. And I'm working quite quickly so that that glue is still quite pliable. I'm going to lift that up. I'm going to put it on my mat. I'm going to get the smallest end of my ball tool and I'm just going to twizzle it. So what it's done is it's sunk into the mat and it's just given that glue a chance to dry. And while it's drying round the shape of my ball tool. Can you see, just like that? And so as it comes out, it now holds its shape. So the next bit we're going to do is we're going to add some stamens. So I've got some stamens here. And I'm going to use these bright green stamens. And then I need a little piece of wire. Oh, I've got a piece just there, look. So we can do that. And then I'm going to just line these up. So I want them to be fairly lined up. They don't have to be exact. Actually, I think I might have gone, even for me, a few too many stamens there. It just won't go through the hole. Oh, take that one then, because it's there. Get my wire. I don't need to use that much, so let's just cut this wire down. And you can reuse this many times. I have lots of pieces of wire all over the place. So while I've got that in my hand, I'm just going to wrap that around the stamens. I'm going to fold it in half. And then I'm just going to pinch that wire. While I'm holding that wire, I'm just going to put a hole in the centre of my flower down with my poker tool and just slide it down the length of my poker tool. I'm then going to take the wire, I'm going to slide it through there, and then I'm going to, now I was struggling with this, so I found the easiest way to do this, pair of pliers, grab that, it came through really easy when you do that. Take the wire out, remember you can reuse that. Make sure your stamens are where you want them to be. And then, again, not too much glue, but a little bit of glue on the back edge, just there. leave that upside down just to dry for a minute. Now, also from my signature collection, I've just cut a few leaves out of green. So let's bring in the card again. Oh, just once that's dry, what you want to do is cut that off there. That isn't dry yet, but I just wanted to show you. And that gives you this flower, just like that. You can see a nice little bit. And that's going to go on here. I'm going to bring it down a little bit for once. So I'm going to do, I need to use my hot glue to make this stick. But it'll work. It'll work lovely. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to actually start sticking some foliage on just because I'm only using one flower. So I'm going to pop a leaf just there. So this isn't stuck down. I'm just using it. If you wanted to, I've got two. Could I do two? No, I've got two. No, I just want one. Oh, or do I? Do I? I never used two. No, two's not right. I should have, if I needed two, I'd have had to have done three. So yes, can't do two. It's the wrong number. So that's going to go just like that. That's going to go just like that. It is, I find if you don't use your flower to gauge where to put the foliage, you can so easily get it in the wrong place. There we go, like that. These ones I can do quite easily now. I can pop this just in there. This one is coming. I'm going to bring that right down to there. I've got one more of those, and I'm going to just, so although it's only one flower, this arrangement in the corner has grown quite a lot, hasn't it? Don't worry about stringy bits. We get rid of stringy bits at the end. Then I'm going to put a little bit more glue on the back. That will actually melt that glue, so it'll really adhere. And I'm going to pop that on to there, just like that. There we go. And then you can fluff up the flower. Remember, foam can be re-fluffed. Now, how about that? Let's use all these bits off so you can see it. How about that? Do you not just love that? Isn't that a beautiful project? Love the colour popping through the back. If you want to have it white, but just with that one solitary flower, your happy birthday sentiment. You notice I just added a few little gems to make it pop. Don't do too many. And that is how we do blending with frames with faux flowers. I hope you liked it.